Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of Cyclones Abroad. My name is Luke Sloterdijk, and I'm a senior in Global Resource Systems and Environmental Science. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about what it looks like to study abroad at Iowa State. But before we do that, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit so you know who was talking to you. So, like I said, I'm a Global Resource Systems and Environmental Science senior, hoping on graduating here in December of 2020. I'm originally from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Um, Went to a high school in Cedar Rapids, kind of grew up there. And then obviously when I graduated from high school, I decided I wanted to come to Iowa State. I knew I was interested in international development and food insecurity. And so that's what interested me in the Global Resource Systems department. And then picked up environmental science a little down the road after kind of dropping pre-med and realizing that wasn't for me. And so we'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about what my experiences, how my experiences led me to where I'm at now. And within those experiences, I'm just going to touch on those just for a second before we dive into what this vlog is going to look like and everything. I've had the opportunity to travel to Malawi, Africa 3 times, working for a nonprofit and getting to be involved with that. And then I've also gotten to travel to various European countries as well as Canada and Mexico. So yes, like I said, this is Cyclones Abroad. This is this new vlog that I'm starting, hoping to just inform underclassmen specifically, maybe even freshmen if I can catch you guys early enough, on what it looks like to study abroad at Iowa State, why you should study abroad at Iowa State, to talk to you guys more about the scholarships and other resources and grants that are available to students who are excited and desiring to study abroad, or other organizations depending on your professional background that would be good to work for, whether it's a paid internship or an unpaid internship, all of those opportunities, and we can talk about that. And then also, not sure how much more this will be relevant. Hopefully it won't be by the time you get to watch this video, but how COVID-19 has impacted study abroad at Iowa State, how it's impacted my study abroad opportunities. And then finally, what I'm doing this fall and what my study abroad experience while in Ames, Iowa looks like, because that kind of doesn't make sense, but I'll talk about that too. For freshmen and sophomores specifically, this is your time to study abroad. I would highly recommend maybe after your second semester at Iowa State, maybe even after your first semester if you're really feeling comfortable, to start looking for opportunities. I would say sophomore year is normally the best time for people to go because you've had a year on campus under your belt, but you also have 2 years left once you're back to still dive deeper into your coursework, into the more technical coursework that you may not have as a freshman or a sophomore. And second, you'll also have plenty of time during your freshman year to start looking for opportunities. So Iowa State study abroad offices, there's one for every college. And I'll specifically be talking about mostly the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences study abroad office because that's what I'm most familiar with. And their staff is amazing. You can set up a meeting with them at any point, and literally you just tell them what your interests are, what your background is, and then like where you're hoping to go or what you're hoping to do. And they will give you just an array of opportunities that you can apply to, that they can help you apply to, and give you more information on, with the prices, the location, the contact persons that you can be involved with and stuff like that. So the study abroad opportunities, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but at Iowa State are endless, and even more than most other universities in the country. So if you are an interested traveler, if you're someone who's wanting to gain competitive international experiences prior to graduation from your 4-year degree, then Iowa State is absolutely the place for you. The amount of scholarships and grants that are available for students who want to study abroad are endless, just like the amount of opportunities there are. So the scholarship office, if you haven't had a chance to look yet, go on to financial aid and check out all of the different opportunities. So there's like general scholarships that you can apply for where your name is put into the hat of all of the different scholarships that you would be applicable to. But then there's also specific opportunities for scholarships that are only for studying abroad. So we'll talk a little bit more about my story here in a little bit. But one major scholarship that I would highly recommend all students who are facing high financial need should look into is the Gilman Scholarship, the Benjamin A. International Scholarship. And so I'm actually a Benjamin A. Gilman Scholar, and so I can talk more about what the application process looks like in a later video. But I would highly recommend it. It's a highly competitive scholarship, but it's also it pays. It pays well to put your time in and to apply for it because they are just trying to get as many students as possible from the United States overseas to be getting these experiences. So like I said, there's millions of scholarships out there, millions of dollars of scholarships out there, I should say, for out-of-state students interested in studying abroad. I personally was supposed to be with the Skillman Scholarship, was supposed to be in South Africa last summer, summer of 2020, completing a food insecurity and international development internship with a nonprofit based out of Des Moines. So obviously that didn't happen, but they actually offered me a virtual internship. And so I accepted that, and I worked for them all summer virtually, and I'm actually continuing work with them into this fall as my last semester at Iowa State. So it can happen. Virtual internships, virtual international internships are actually a thing, and are actually very helpful. As much as it sounds like, well, that's a bummer, Luke, like you got to miss out, or you had to miss out on traveling. Yes, I'm very bummed about that, but also highly optimistic and really a believer in these virtual experiences as well, because there are certain organizations that do a very good job of providing resources and opportunities for students who aren't able to travel, obviously with COVID, but can still find paid opportunities to be doing real life work in your technical area with an international exposure involved with that. So this fall, I'm actually conducting a food insecurity analysis for a city in South Africa with this organization, using and utilizing the resources that I've been given from the Benjamin A. International Scholarship, Gilman International Scholarship. The first thing to think about when you're deciding whether you should study abroad or not, in my opinion, is, do you want to have an international experience that you can put on your resume, but also have in your back pocket and in your toolkit for when you're applying for jobs after graduation? Like, you have to find something that can set you apart from these thousands and thousands of other students, even at Iowa State and even around the United States, to be able to set yourself apart and to be able to get a job in this crazy world. And so I personally would highly recommend an international experience, because I would say a small portion of students actually end up doing something like this during their 4 years, because they're like, well, I'm too stressed, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, all these different things. Like, no, nonsense. You can make it happen if you really want it to happen. And as a freshman or sophomore, you really have to push to make it happen then, because by the time you're a junior or senior, your college career is quickly dwindling and will end very, very soon, much sooner than you might even think. So that's my number one thing. If you want to do it, do it. Don't let yourself lie to yourself and say, oh, I'm okay. You know, I just want to be able to take my time or save this money now. Like, with all the resources that I'm talking about and we'll continue to talk about, it is doable. I promise you, it's doable. So after that, let's say after you've decided that you want to do an international experience, that's why you're on this vlog, I would say, number one, choose an experience that you're passionate about. Don't just choose something of like, oh, like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool, and I know a lot of my friends have done this in the past, or I've heard of someone doing it. Choose something that you want to do. Choose something that you are passionate about, and something that will get you ahead in your career. Have a career mindset. Have a long-term mindset on why you're choosing this opportunity, because down the road, even 5-10 years from now, from that experience, like, you'll still be drawing from that and explaining, oh yeah, like, I remember I had this experience in this village at this time, and I had to do this to solve this problem. And your employers are going to love to hear that. They're going to love that they have an employee who has cultural competence, who's able to work on a multicultural team, who's able to solve problems and have critical thinking skills in another country. Because quite honestly, not a lot of Americans can do that. And so if you are able to do that, that's like what the next generation is going to look like to be able to get a job. And so I would highly recommend just hopping on the train sooner rather than later. Second, don't let the price of your study abroad experience freak you out and like make you stop pursuing that. Like, the price of the trip should be the last worry that you have. And I know that's just so countercultural, but I promise you, and believe me, like, you just need to do that. Just forget about the price until it comes down to it, and you've applied for all the scholarships and all of that stuff. And then there still should be ways to be able to figure out a way where you can pay for that study abroad experience and to get that experience that you need, because the experiences that you're going to get abroad are priceless.